You know, it's been 5 years since we built those Borax wagons. I have all those videos in a playlist referring to the Borax build, but I've decided to take all those videos and compile them down into one concise video, and that's what this week's video is about. So for many of you, this might be going back down memory lane. I know it was for me. But there's probably many of you that did not watch that video, so this is an opportunity to see it all in one concise video. So I hope you enjoy the process that went into building the Borax wagons. This is the one remaining set of the original Borax wagons, still intact, that were used to haul borax in Death Valley during the 1880s. These are on display at the Harmony Mine in Death Valley. The Death Valley Conservancy is commissioning these wagons to be duplicated in an effort to preserve part of what is known as the Big Hitch era. At the museum at the Furnace Creek Resort, there are the remains of 2 running gears that provide the information necessary to their construction. Building the wheels is a prime concern, and this video shows how that process has begun by turning the hubs from solid white oak blocks. Now you can see that we've got it to where it'll rotate. Now because these aren't exactly round and because they are so heavy, you'll notice when he turns on the lathe, it stands off to one side in case something might come apart on these. We didn't have anything happen on any of them. We have the whole wagon blueprinted, so we'll take the blueprints for the axle caps, take the measurements, transfer them over to the block that's going to become the axle cap. And you can see the pattern on the bottom that's going to match the axle. The standards on a wagon are the uprights on the bolsters and axle caps to keep the body from sliding side to side. So this is what we look like with our bridge work on. Is what they ended up looking like finished. So this is the finished iron work of the front axle. We put some oil on it, and this is what it looks like when it has been finished. The first step in building the rear axle assembly was to iron the end of the reach where it attaches to the front axle, and also where the reach hounds, which are on both sides of the reach, attach to the reach. This is the complete set of irons, the top and bottom plate, the side irons. So we're going to pin these in place in the front of the reach, but we're actually going to start to assemble them at the back of the reach. Now we can put the top and bottom plate, and you can see where the kingpin hole will be. This is what is referred to as the horn and bumper. It sits on the back axle of the wagons and helps steer and stop the wagon that's following. Again, we'll look for width more than we look for length on this lower bumper weld. Make sure we're flat. And we put these in the press and we bend them. Kind of a gentle weld again. This is what they look like when they're finished, and this is where it goes on the back of the back axle. And these axle clips are assembled over the axle cap, through each reach hound, through the reach and the horn and bumper, and then everything is bolted securely with 7/8 bolts. This iron goes over the center, over the reach, which is a type of a mortise and tenon that is shown here on an old one. And then on the left side, this is an iron that's an inch thick, 3 inches wide, and has a little saddle in it. And this holds the bar that's 2 3/4 inch thick and holds it in place. So this is just upsetting it back on itself so it has a tight fit onto the brake bar. And it sets in the saddle through the hole in the center iron with a top cap to keep it in place. And this is how the brake handle works itself. We do both of them the same. This is where we put some oil on them and how it will attach to the front axle. This is for the Borax Wagons. We assembled about 1,000 feet of 1.5 inch yellow poplar, and also the main beams that will hold the main part of the box together. This will be the second to the last floorboard, and this will be the last one that I'll put on at this time. And everything, of course, is double checked for square and straight as we go up the sides. And the irons that go up the side are also attached to this cross frame. And again, all these get 1/2-inch bolts that have been quenched and blackened. And it's just a lot of bolts. This is what it looks like when they're oiled. So we're going to bring it out and just kind of jockey it under position. Now, because the brake arm is so tall, it has to go off to one side. It needs to clear the framework. Now the back axle is kind of in place. I need to bring out the front axle. The front bolster over the kingpin, and that's where the front of the box will sit. And this is what it looks like when it's set down on the axle. Go to the drill press, we're going to drill our holes in them. So what they look like before they're actually welded to length. This is the rear brake handle, and this is how it will fit with the multiple holes to adjust the length. We treat them in hot oil to give them this black look, and then heat them up again to shrink them onto the hubs themselves. And of course we're doing again all 8 hubs at once. These planks were 3.5-inch thick, so we resawed these down to 2-inch thick. This is the thickness of the spokes that are required on these wheels. And this is one spoke at a time, every other spoke, and then filling in the spaces. So you can see now the dogs are down over the tire, and Calvin is going to take that tire right up out of there and bring it over to the wheel. The brake handle is also unique, having a loop forged into the end so that they can fasten a rope to it and operate it from the wheel horse. The brake handle then fits inside the ratchet, and it will have the hole on the bottom that will pivot on the initial brake pivot arm. And then the 3 holes above that is where the brake rod itself will fasten to. What I did initially was to get the wheels in place so that they were ready when my help showed up. These are the hinges that were forged like the old original style. Calvin here is mounting the brake shoes and the brake blocks in order to stop these wagons. These are almost 4 feet long, and you can see what they look like when they're finished here. At this point, we're getting really close to having these wagons completed enough to roll. And this is the first time they've seen the light of day for 11 months. You know, the process of putting this whole playlist of the Borax Wagons into one concise video has even been really quite nostalgic for me. I enjoyed going back and reliving those days that happened 5 years ago. It's kind of hard to believe. So if you haven't seen the whole process, I would encourage you to go to the playlist, the Borax Wagons, and maybe watch it more in depth. I know the commentary is by far more in depth than even this video is. But anyway, I appreciate all of you who have followed along and continue to follow the Engels Coat Shop. Once again, thanks for watching.